week. So that's a week when we can do what? Trade on Mondays. Now, if Jackson Hole Symposium starts on a Monday, or any one of those 3 days of that symposium is on a Monday, you don't trade a Monday. Absolutely don't trade it. So I went long, and then later in the afternoon, I went short. Six contracts or so that came out, and then I got stopped out on the bounce of here. So I covered five and one more, and then the trailed stop loss I was giving it room to see if it can overlap a little bit of this. I was hoping that the new day opening gap would keep it at bay, and then finally it stopped me out right there. That's where stop loss is there. Now this one was something I was sharing with my private students to kind of like anchor, because they're a private community that is beyond what this is. I was teaching them early in the beginning of the week, also telling them that just be mindful that this week we will see overlapping price. That means it'll go back and forth. And whatever price run was before the one we're in now, it's going to go over top of that and run potentially whatever stop was there. So I did something that made sense technically, shorted at a really good level based on sound logic, added to it based on sound logic, good risk management, no over leveraging, no crazy town like frequency of trade, and then targeted the liquidity, majority lion's portion of the move taken below old lows where smart money traders are going to distribute their short positions. And then I allowed the market to come all the way back up. Now, truth be told, I wanted to see it come down here, and I was going to start doing partials right into here. I would have took one off of the remaining four, and I would have took one more off below these lows here, and I would have took one off here, and then I would have had one contract remaining to see if I can get below here and then reach for the target I had. That's how I intended to trade it, but it came all the way back and got the balance of the 4 contracts of the 10 that went short here, 6, added 4 more here. Let me highlight it right there. You can see it. Look up here, right up here. That is a closure, and then that's a closure right there. And then the balance of the remaining 4 of the 10 contracts were stopped out there. So that's over $17,000. Buying it long, I would have shorted it here had I been in front of the charts, but it was too fast for me, way too fast. I was thinking I was going to be able to upload the video because it was real short. I compressed it real quick, and then it took like 30 seconds to compress and make it in Camtasia, and then started on the server upload. And I came back to the charts, and I was expecting to do something in the upper half of the volume imbalance to get short on, and it just said, oh, hell no, lower. And then I had to wait for this objective here, which is fine, because I would have wanted the short up in this area and then used the lower end to pyramid. Like I added it here, where I went 6 here and 4 here. I would have done 6 in here. If it would have offered me something on the high end above the midpoint, which is that red line, if it would have gave me another fair value gap to trade into or institutional order for entry drill, I would have went short on that. Or if it would have traded back up into this wick, half consequent correction, I would have added there. And then as it broke lower, the last pyramid entry would have been trading what I have here. If it would have given it, it may not have given it though. But that's my thought process. So I can say that to you because you can see my executions here. You can see my other executions. You can also see how I'm calling price action live, giving you the details of why it should behave a certain way and why it shouldn't behave a certain way. And then you watch it pan out. So I'm going to ask you, do you believe that there's an algorithm that controls price? If you do believe there's an algorithm that controls price, do you believe that they somehow changed it? Do you see traps being formed? Do I look like I'm being trapped by anything? Does this look like a man that knows something about the marketplace, or does he look like he's falling into traps and snares? Does it look like that this person that's talking to you over live price action, not market replay, not hindsight moves, not a textbook, here's a picture in a book that's static and who knows when it was. I'm talking to you with real price action over live feed with low latency. That means from the time it happens in real time and you seeing it with my live stream, and if you have live stream that's occurring, I'm already talking about it before it gets there. and how it should behave. And then there it is. So do you believe that they've changed an algorithm, if there is one, or if you don't believe there's an algorithm, leave a comment. I promise you, as long as you're respectful, I'll still be able to see any other comments you send me. But if you send me some stupid shit, some dog shit kind of post or whatever, all I do is click hide viewer from channel, meaning I will never see you. You'll be able to leave a comment. You'll think you're leaving a comment, but I won't ever see your horse shit again. I'm here to teach, even the people that don't like me. I'm here for you to learn how to do this stuff the right way, how to read price action the right way. And if you feel like that what I'm showing you isn't valid, well, make a case for why it isn't. You want to make videos about me? Okay. Tell me where I did it wrong. Make the video about it. Okay. I won't do a copyright strike. Don't do the whole video. Just do little segments of it. And I promise you, for everyone that does that, there'll be an army of other people uploading parts where I really said it in proper context. And I'll wipe you out that way too. I want to see it. I want to see the guys that can do this stuff do it live. Call it out live. Explain it. What's the logic behind it? What's the narrative? Explain why it should behave a certain way. I mean, look at that move. Look at it. Were we long today? Gap. Multiple things added to it. All in here. Fair value gap. Rejection block. Sell off. Reaching to new day opening gap. I think that's a sell side. Yeah. And I think that's going to be it for today. I think I've done a fair enough job today to shit on everybody that says there is no algorithm, that price isn't controlled, and that there are absolutely zero traps. There are no traps for smart money concepts. Let me see if I can say this in a very diplomatic way. You're a fucking idiot if you don't recognize that there's an algorithm. You're a fucking idiot if you are trying to make a Band-Aid for your inability to know how to use it properly and time it and make the excuse that they somehow changed the algorithm. I'm the guy that created this stuff. This is my whole entire life's work. I codified these things. Me. I did. You can see it in you can hear the authority in when I'm talking about it. That's why it sounds arrogant, because it's mine. And I know, and I've been watching, it's being abused. And these people don't know what they're talking about. When you have a better understanding, which will take you a little bit of time and effort, it's going to take you effort, you will have the confidence that is lacking in every other approach. Because what you're doing is you're placing faith on a pattern. I don't believe in a pattern. I don't believe in any fucking pattern. I believe in time when it should move, and I believe in price, in efficiency, liquidity, inside the spectrum of a market structure that either is implying that it's going to go higher or lower. And where is that derived from? The daily chart. It seems like there's a whole lot of things to balance. That's because you don't know what it feels like to hold a piece of china, one plate, one piece of fine chinaware. And you don't know what it feels like to hold that dowel rod that's 3.5 feet in length. And you don't know what it feels like to take that one plate and spin it on the top of that dowel rod and maintain that one plate and keep it from falling and breaking. And then getting good at that with one, and then trying it with the second one, and getting good and being able to hold both of them spinning without dropping them and breaking it, and then adding one more. And that's exactly what it's like learning how to trade. Every aspect of trading is never learned quickly and just right away, just like that. And anyone that markets to you that they can do that for you, listen to me, folks, and I mean this. In Jesus' name, I mean this. They're lying to you. They're lying to you. They're trying to do anything they can to separate you from your money so that way they can eat. I promise you that is the truth. Because if they knew what they were doing if they really understood what they were doing, they wouldn't be begging you to pay them. They wouldn't be doing everything in their power to take your attention away from me, who's giving it to you for free. And look what it's doing. Look what it's doing. Are you not entertained? Are you not seeing the proof that there is absolutely a way to read price action, and it's so perfect? How the hell could the market react to these levels like this with the logic, foreknowledge, knowing that it's going to behave a certain way? How could anyone know this? We've already canceled out all the bullshit. It's this person's content. It's that person's content. It's this, it's that. And every single time they strike out. It's not there. It's not anywhere else but coming out of my mouth. It's in my head, codified by good old ICT. And I'm giving it to you for free because I got the permission from my son. I think to myself, every time I lay my head down, I'm like, I honestly expect, not that I tried to raise greedy, self-centered boys, I didn't. But I thought for sure they'd be like, no way. With all the shit that they've seen people talk about me and stuff, like sometimes they would get emotional and be like, yeah, why don't you do this and do this? I was like, because if I let them stay like that, I have a counterpoint to make arguments against. Is forever, ever, there's going to be people that's going to say something about me. They're going to say there's no algorithm. They're going to say I can't trade. They're going to say I can't call it live. They're going to say I can't produce profitable students. Oh, I've done all that stuff, and they still come up with some Mickey Mouse shit. It doesn't take it away. It doesn't change it. And it gives me a perfect soundboard to say, listen, you're either going to be the camp of understanding this stuff is real, and you're going to progress and learn for free, or you're going to be the person that says, I have to sell something because I can't do what he does, so I have to sell something on my own. So I'm going to shit on him and do drama marketing. And that only lasts for so long until you're exposed as an unprofitable dick fucking fraud. Or people wake up and say, yeah, you really don't have the Kool-Aid. I'm sticking with ICT. I'm drinking his Kool-Aid. I got the best Kool-Aid, and it's for free. My lemonade stand has the best juice, and it's for free. All I got to do is show up. All you got to do is show up and hang out. I'm giving you stuff that you never would learn. I'm proving things conceptually over live price action, and it's not both sides of the marketplace. I'm teaching you narrative. That's the stuff that cannot be taught in a book. It cannot be taught in a book. I could write 50 fucking books the rest of my life. I would never be able to scratch the surface of you watching real time what price candles are doing real time as they deliver. How to monitor. Okay, watch when it goes here. You want to see it do this. You don't want to see it do that. But those things can't be communicated in a static picture. Think about that. Some of you have such high hopes about these books, and you're thinking, I'm just going to wait for the book. Like that's somehow going to give you a quick, jump ahead to the front of the line in understanding. That's not happening, folks. Not for the lack of wanting it to be like that, because if I could, I really would. I really would. It'd be so much easier because I want to see what you do with the information. Clearly, I've made millionaires with this stuff. Millionaires, okay? I'm not the mentor of your mentor. I'm the mentor of millionaire traders. I'm the mentor of mentors that while they're learning how to do it, they sell my stuff when I give it away for free. Make that make sense. That just goes to show the level of just lunacy that traders have when they get in this industry right now. Here's it for free from the guy that created it. And here's other guys out here saying, I'm going to teach you how to do it easier, faster, simplifying it. Have them come out and do what I'm doing. Outline the logic, the whys, the why it should and the why it shouldn't, and when it should happen and when it should not happen. And I'm here with it. watching. I want popcorn at the ready because that shit ain't never going to happen. Every mentor that's selling a mentorship right now, if they are not giving it to you for a couple months for free, proving that they can see it, outline it, and give it to you in pristine detail, they are not worth your fucking time, let alone your money. And if that hurts, suck it the fuck up, Buttercup, because that's just the reality. That's the reality. Shit's too expensive now, man. Shit is way too fucking expensive, and shit's too deep for people to be fucking around with some fraudulent fucking wannabe mentor. If you can't do it, if you can't explain it, if you can't make it make sense real time, you have no voice. And you certainly don't fucking deserve to have my fucking name a part of your shit. So yes, I'm dipping my dick in your cornflakes, and I'm pissing all in it, because the ones that can really do it, they're not going to be offended by that. They're going to be like, you know what? For the people that want to go with ICT, there it is. But if you want to see the way I'm doing it, and I'm going to come out and prove that I can do this too, you know what? You get a nod from me. I won't shit on you. I won't say nothing about you, because you've earned your spot. You've earned it. But everybody wants my logo in their fucking thumbnail. Everybody wants my fucking name in there, either for fucking drama purposes. Oh yeah, ICT doesn't fucking trade. He's unprofitable. He's the, like, these motherfuckers know me. Like, you don't know me. You don't fucking know me. None of you know what the fuck's going on. None of you do. But I love the ones that absolutely care to learn how to do it properly, that have taken notes, and they've took the initiative to go out there and say, I'm going to carve out my own model. I didn't forget who I learned it from. I'm not blowing ICT in front of everybody just to get a nod from him. I give him his flowers, say, hey, you know what? Thank you for helping me. And if anybody ever asks, how'd you learn this? ICT. And then you go right back to your business. When I'm in other people's live streams and they start, oh, ICT, like I'm a fucking celebrity, I quickly, focus on your stream. I'm not a fucking celebrity. But if I want to make myself known in your stream, when I do that, that's not an invitation for everybody to stop listening to the people I'm in there watching too. I'm curious. I want to see what they're doing. I want to watch what they're doing. Because if they're using my information, I want them to teach it correctly. And if I can help them without managing their trade for them, I'll do so. I just don't know how anybody would want to pour money into something when it's being given for free. Like, you're getting it, the purest form of it, where it's in a manner where you can judge it for free. I can see if I come out here, and I've done this. If I come out here and I play silly, like, this is like, I don't know, you could do that, it could do that. Well, I don't know that. Yeah, okay, that's somebody that I was talking about. But look at the chart. Look at what we were doing today. Really, listen to what I'm telling you. That's not ambiguous. It's one-sided. And it was very rule-based. If it does this, it's going to do that. If it does this, it shouldn't do this, so therefore you can look for this. And I literally told you how my son would be engaging it, how he's going to use this model, where his entry technique would be applied, where his stop loss would be, and why. Why is the stop losses in your chart, or in your trades, Michael? How is it that your stop losses are so well placed? Right. It's the logic I showed to you today. Everything I'm teaching in this mentorship is how I pyramid into trades, how I place my stop loss, how I read the market, how I get a bias, how I know what's the right draw on liquidity, how I can change direction, how all those things. That's what this mentorship is, because I want my son to know those things. And my other boys will have the recordings as well. And because I'm releasing it for the first time this way, everybody afterwards is an echo. Meaning they didn't discover it. They didn't find out. I love my students, I do. But one of the things that irk me is I see a lot of people say, I took the same trade. When you do that, I'm looking for your trade. And when you don't have that, I look at that as, okay, that's fandom. Fandom is not why I'm here. I don't want fans. I don't want, let's bump shoulders and say, hey, look, yeah, this is a move we both took. I don't high five anybody like that. If you're going to go so far as to tell me in the comment section that, yeah, I took the same trade, you fucking better show that you did the same trade. Show it. Because I don't have any respect for that. And I know the viewers, if I allowed those comments to be seen, would shit all over that. And it's justified. It's justified. And if you're going to co-sign and say, I did this like you did, or took the same trade, as a mentor, I want to see that you did, because that's a testimony that you listened, that you used the logic that I spent the time teaching, and you did it without me telling you how to do it. That's a testimony. You have a voice. You have reason to say, I know what I'm doing. Not just, hey, I want somebody to say, you did the same trade as ICT? Wow. That's not impressive. Show the trade. Show it. Show the engagement, where you got in, where your stop loss, how you manage it. I would love nothing more to see that. I love when I see that in my students. I love that. You all like it when you're watching my executions. I love watching my students' executions. To me, it's like watching my own kids, Like I'm watching them do something that my heart is in. My whole life's been in this. And when I can see someone else carving out their success with it, man, am I fucking proud of that. I am fucking proud of that moment, because I know what it feels like for them. I know what it feels like for them. And I get emotional. Sometimes I get welled up and I feel like a fucking peacock walking around. And other times I get emotional. I start crying because I'm happy for them. And if I get a chance to have the fortunate opportunity to watch them when they're live streaming and they do it and they feel good, you can watch their fucking face light up because it worked out. You know damn well what that feels like. And you can't describe it. No words are going to be able to be adequate enough to say how good it fucking feels. Because there's so many people out there that want to tell you, and it's not because they just don't like me or they just want to shit on you specifically. They'll just shit on anybody because they're miserable. Unless you suck their dick and love what they do, okay? But here, in this industry, unless you are really part of a good community and you're a mature person, you can't appreciate someone else's success. If you look at someone else, I don't care what they are, okay, if they're trading with any kind of other discipline outside of mine, if they make money and are consistently able to do that, I am fucking impressed by that. I have every ounce of fucking respect for somebody like that. They don't have to use what I'm teaching. I'm just telling you, this is what the markets really do. And if you happen to find a trade that lines up, that's why your trade worked. But if you are consistently profitable, doing anything of your own accord, I have a great deal of respect for that. I don't get jealous by that. I don't talk down just because you don't use my concepts. You're making fucking money. That's the whole reason why anybody should be doing this. But social media has caused the perfect storm for people to be divisive. And when I say the things I say, and I said this before, but I get new students all the time. They say, wow, you're very aggressive, or you talk down to other people. And I wish you wouldn't do that. I'm not talking to you when I do that. I'm talking to the people that are in other communities that have heard shit about me that isn't true. And then when I do something like that, when I challenge them, say, look, your shit's Mickey Mouse. It's bullshit. Mine's the real stuff, and it would smoke you. What's that going to make them do? They're going to say, well, I want to see where it's wrong. And all of a sudden, I have a convert, because they start seeing shit they never saw before, and they're convinced. Not because I said so, because they see it in the fucking charts. They're watching it happen in their own charts. They're like, oh shit, this really is better than a fucking rapid wombat pattern. Hello. There's something else going on there. And it's not a zoo pattern. And I provide the opportunity for you to have that moment of astonishment where it happens in your own hands. That's the magic. That's the part that you need to happen in your own study. Because when you have that first initial moment of astonishment where it's like, wow, you'll lean on that throughout your entire career. And then you'll get more of them. and you'll have them in your journal, and you'll share them with other traders. Say, hey, look, what was the biggest epiphany moment for you when you were learning how to trade? Oh, it was when I was looking for these fair value gaps, and I couldn't see them, and I saw all these different fair value gaps, and all of a sudden, boom, it clicked. I was able to see the right ones, and it became easy. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, and I couldn't even expect it to happen the way it did. But just because I was in front of the charts all the time, it was like it finally made sense. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's going to happen for you, but I can't tell you how long it's going to take for that to happen. And some of you, and let's be real honest, Michael, most of you are not giving yourself enough time to get that moment. Because when it happens, that's when the trading bug has bit you. Now you're a fucking mutant, okay? You're going to be out there chasing every opportunity to be a web slinger, just like Spider-Man, okay? You're going to be slinging around in these charts, looking for new opportunities to be able to test the theories that you're learning about. And when you get more experience and it's building and building, it's infectious. And you start talking to yourself in a positive tone. So you know what? I'm making progress. I am not wasting my time listening to people talk down to the person that's sharing this for free. I'm asking nothing. I'm asking nothing. I'm doing this for my son. You don't have to watch my videos. Nothing brings you here but your own morbid curiosity or your sincere desire to learn it. But it's going to be a default result, the cause and effect of you spending time here doing the things I'm teaching my son. If you mimic this, your understanding on how to read price action clearly, properly, accurately, and how to determine what it's likely to reach for will go through the stratosphere. Like you won't realize how fast your learning will go if you stay out of the toxic stuff. If you stay out of all the what if thinking, don't do that. What if you do well by learning this? That's how you should think. What if you learn it faster than you thought it was going to take you? You got to replace all that toxic thinking with positive self-talk. And you do that through your journal and then while you're watching price action. When you feel like you missed something, just remind yourself, you know what? This is just one day out of over 200 opportunities in a whole year. Within how many years do you anticipate living? I mean, obviously tomorrow's not promised to nobody, but nobody plans to die tomorrow, right? Nobody plans, I'm going to live 14 more years and that's it. I'm going to get out the ghost. Nobody thinks like that. So for as long as you think you're going to be alive and you have your mental faculties, that's the opportunity that's in front of you. So don't rush to get to, I can push a button and I can get it right sometimes and it'll be enough for me. No. Your goal should be, I'm going to be bored out of my fucking mind because I know that this is what's likely to occur. I've seen it so many times before. And when you finally fund an account with real money, or you finally get to a decision where you want to take a funded account challenge, you know that what you've been doing already works and nobody needs to convince you of it. And you don't need to listen to me cheerlead you on. You've seen the fruits of it. You've back tested it. You've forward tested it. You've tape read. You have demo traded it for a minimum 3 months. You have the data to support the idea that you yourself can engage with price using the information. And you stick to the rules that you've laid down for yourself. You don't deviate from it. You don't bend them. You don't try to do more to impress social media. You're not even worried about social media. That's the right mindset. That's the absolute mindset. And if you don't want to learn from me, apply that same logic to whoever you want to learn from that's proven they can do it to you. And I mean that sincerely. It don't have to be with me. You don't have to learn how to trade with me. But I'm not going to lie to you and tell you it's Bollinger Bands causing the market to do this or doing that. It's not. I'm not going to make up some horse shit around an indicator to justify why the market does this or doesn't do that. All these different trading disciplines out there, okay, all of them. If you use sound money management and you don't overtrade or over leverage, anything can be made profitable. And unfortunately, like I learned in the very beginning, I attributed the indicators, the oversold bullish stochastics on a 1 hour chart. That was the secret sauce for me. And it was just because the market was going to go up anyway. That's it. That's the only thing that happened. And I didn't get stopped out the times I won. And I wore blinders on. And when I lost, I should have been studying why I was losing, but I was focusing on studying why I won. The greater lessons for me would have been studying why I was doing it wrong, because it was staring me in my face. Everything I've been teaching on this YouTube channel were all the things I was ignoring that could have made me so much better sooner and kept me from losing fortunes. I've lost more money in the early stages of my development than some of you will probably ever make. But I still kept going. And I didn't have ICT telling me in videos, do this, and you'll be fine. Keep doing it. It'll work for you. It'll work for you. I didn't have that. I had tears, crying, anxiety attacks, eating disorders, ulcers forming in my stomach, irritable bowel syndrome. I had all that. That was my companions while I was learning all this stuff. That was what it was like. Books didn't satisfy me. Nobody knew what they were doing online. They weren't telling you. Like, I'm talking about things that repeat every single day. That you can go in, measure it, study it, see the influences over it, and then where in these runs do you find your setup? There's lots of trades in this, man. Lots of them. And I know enough to know that it's not appropriate for me to force you into any one of these specific ones. But because Caleb needs that structure to start him, I'm forcing him into fair value gap. So it's the first fair value gap that forms between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. Is that complicated, folks? Am I hiding it from you? Am I lathering it all up and hiding the real thing he's looking for? No. I've been honest with you. I've been very straightforward, and I've made it very detailed. Like today was very, very, very detailed. But it's the first presentation of a fair value gap inside of 9:30 to 10 o'clock. That is going to be his setup. That's his thing, okay? That's his modem. Not his modem, his model. I was thinking modem because I watched this little short on YouTube before I got on here today. It showed a 1993 desktop computer, and it was loading up, turning on for the first time, and it was going through all of its login, startup, and he was loading up Doom, 16-bit, and it was like, man, that sends me back to memories and stuff. But it made me think about when we had old modems, when American Line came online. I know I digress, but I have to do it because it's just one of those things. When we had American Online when it first came out, everybody had a modem. They had to plug their phone line in, and you hear this, all that terrible handshaking that it would do when it was connecting to the service. It didn't make that sound. It was like some kind of song playing, but not that you needed to do that to play Doom. But I was thinking modem. It's been in my mind all morning. Like, now, look at the technology we have. Like, I'm literally talking to you, and you're all around the world, different places, all at the same time hearing me talk. Within 4 seconds, you're seeing and hearing everything I'm doing. Like, we're really in the age of the Jetsons, that 80s cartoon, George Jetson and stuff, and they could talk to each other on the TV or in the palm of their hand. That's what we're doing today. Isn't that wild? I mean, technology is amazing today, and you have all the advantages that I didn't have. So if it took me years to figure out all this stuff, and I know the Lord had his hand in it, that was my mentor. That was the one that said, look here. And I heard it. And that it might be unsettling for you. It might want to say, okay, I'm done. You're talking about Jesus, I'm out of here. Goodbye. See ya. But that's who kept me in it. Because I didn't have the money to keep doing it. I didn't. I had to work real, real hard to replenish those accounts that I kept dusting off because I figured it out with a new indicator setting. Oh, I was doing it with the wrong indicator setting. I got to do it with 14 smooth by 3. That's the one that's the cast. That's the secret one. That's what the smart traders use. You should have saw some of the stuff I believed back then. It was nuts. It was nuts. What you see me able to do and describe and teach and what my other traders and students can do, that was unheard of back then. Nobody, and even still today, even before I stepped out, nobody was able to do this kind of stuff. And that's how you know the hand of the Lord's in it. Because if he wouldn't have opened my eyes to it, you wouldn't have never known it. It's a fantasy that never would have materialized in anybody's mind. And I didn't have the expectation that this would even be possible back then. That's not what kept me going. Each little thing that was being shown to me and revealed, this is what happens in the marketplace. This is how it can be capitalized on. Okay, well, let's codify something around that. Boom, there it is. And when my upcoming as a trader, transitioning from open outcry pits where nothing was electronic, everything was calling in your orders from a phone, I had the unique perspective and timing to be a part of that electronic transfer from open outcry to electronic trading, and then eventually 24-hour trading, where you have it now. And not technically 24 hours, but we'll eventually be there. And when they do away with that gap between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, because if we live long enough, we'll eventually see that go away. There'll be 24 hours trading. It won't change anything. There's still going to be imbalances. There's still going to be inefficiencies. And I have other weapons and other tools. And if they ever take away the gap between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock, I will publicly reveal something that would make an allowance for that. I have so many things. I don't need everything, and you don't need everything. You just need one specific element of trading inside price action when price should move. And whatever that is for you, once you discover what it is, don't demand more. Don't try to reinvent it. Don't try to pick up what ICT said, 81 of them. I'm really curious. Honestly, I wish I never would have said it. I wish I never would have revealed that the corpse. I wish I never would have said that. But because we were talking, I said a lot of things that I said I don't want in that discussion. It was just for him and I as traders talking amongst one another. But I wish I would never said it. But I get people sending me emails and sending me messages and texting me on my personal phone line, which I find very intrusive. If I didn't reply to you, I blocked you, just so you know. And it's not to be a dick, but I get so many people texting and calling when I do the live stream. They're trying to call and talk to me like that. But you only need one thing. If I never teach another PD array, if I never teach a new one, you have more than enough. But the problem is you think by me teaching something new, I've held the better for later. I've held the better for later. But any one of these can perform just as well as the other ones. It's when they first present themselves, that's the importance. What time of day it does it, and what's the underlying narrative, where the market's likely to behave and trade to and draw to. And you incorporate all those things, you have something so strategically advanced, far and above everything else, that it's laughable. It's really laughable what you believe as a trader is a catalyst for you to get into a trade until you learn how to really read what price is doing. And it's very liberating once you understand what it's doing. Because it's like, oh, it really isn't that complicated. But your thoughts and your concerns and your fears about yourself, they cloud your mind. And you're going to waste a lot of time wrestling with those things instead of saying, you know what? My only obligation right now is to log what's going on in price and measure how often these things form. That's my only obligation right now. So that's all Caleb needs to do. He's not in here trying to impress me with how many times he can find a fair value gap. That's not the agenda here. The assignment is you are to log price action and show me what your observations are, finding the first imbalance between 9:30 and 10 o'clock and how it is used intraday and where it was seeking what side of the liquidity. I didn't ask him to be right about liquidity and withdrawal liquidity every single time initially. That's not even part of it. The way you discover all that is by seeing pattern recognition. How does the market behave? But until I teach what is withdrawal and liquidity, which is what we've done, he now has a baseline. Okay, this is what it looks like. So then he can go through his charts after it's happened and find all that information and log it and screenshot and put his annotations on what his observations are. And as he gets more understanding, his annotations will be much more specific about things I'm expecting him to observe. And then I'll know that he can go to the next level of what I want to teach him. That's how I teach. That's what I want for my son. That's the best way. He's my son. And I really don't appreciate people trying to tell me how I should teach my son. When you've made millions of dollars, then you can tell me, okay? When you can come out here live and call every individual 1 minute candle, explain why it's going to do it, then you can give me criticism on how I should teach my son how to trade. Okay? When you can do that, prove it to me, do it live, I'll sit down and I'll take notes from you talking. But otherwise, please don't do that, because I'm not going to hear you. I'm not going to hear that. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to hear it. But I've had a lot of fun today. Obviously, you see that I had a little bit of withdrawal because yesterday we were in a little live stream. So we had a little bit of a longer session today. So if you compensate for the fact that we didn't have a live stream yesterday and average it out a little bit between 2 sessions, it's a little extra for 2 days. Okay? So we'll be back on a 1 hour, maybe a 1 hour and 15 minute duration tomorrow. And then we'll sail into the weekend with warm butterflies and kumbayas. Okay? I had fun. Hope you had fun. If you learned something today, if it's encouraged you, if it gave you some more insight about what we're doing and while we're watching price action, give the stream a thumbs up. That's your currency with me. That means that you found something here that was helpful to you. It caused you some more questions, which is a good thing. If you're watching the live streams and you have questions answered, that's great. But I want you to have more questions, because those questions are opportunities for the people that are paying attention. If you're not watching the streams and having questions arise, you're really not engaging with the lecture. Your motivation should be, how many new questions did you get arise by watching me talk about what price is doing? Because the ones that are really here try to learn, you have questions, and I have answers for you, trust me. But you have to watch and study real time with me, and you'll learn just like Caleb's learning. It is not as complicated as you think it is. In the beginning, it's a language you got to learn, and nobody can have a conversation the first day. You'll fumble over it. You can't pronounce the stuff correctly. It's crazy. And that's all you're experiencing the first time here, or first few times. If you've never looked at price like this, you have to learn the language first. And once you understand the language that I use to discuss it, then it becomes a whole lot more fun, because, oh, I understand exactly what he's doing now. I know you're going to say something in the presence of just yourself and nobody being around, and you're going to say what I'm about to say before I say it. You will finish my sentences, or you'll call attention to something before I do it. And when you start having those epiphanies, it's like, wow, I'm starting to get, you're right, exactly. We're thinking the same way. That means that hive mentality that I'm trying to cultivate around reading price, but I'm not trying to cultivate a hive mentality about how do you trade it. Because if that was the case, we would all be entering at the same place, all at the same stop loss, the same amount of contracts, holding for the same target. That's not what I'm trying to do. You all can be doing something differently, buying and selling in the same day and still be profitable using everything that I taught. That's the power of what I'm teaching you. It is a language to engage price action, but I'm giving you a limitless approach to building models that are literally devastating compared to everything else. But you can't recognize that yet, but you're going to. You're absolutely going to. And when you get to that point, confidence will need to be managed, because it will sound like arrogance. And young men, it's going to be very hard for you to do that. And the more you're like that with your friends and family, the more they're going to think that you're full of shit and it's not going to work for you. So all you're going to do is get more of the things that you don't want. They're never going to say, good job, Timmy. Good job, Josh. You keep doing that. If anybody's going to do it, you're going to do it. They're not going to do that, because they go to work just like you're going to work right now. They're going through the pain of paying too much for shit that's way expensive, and they're struggling. Everybody's struggling. So I'm very proud of Caleb to agree to this being shared, because he could have said, no, Dad, I don't want you to do that because they don't deserve it. And there it is. Okay. I would have went that route. But he feels the same pressure that all of you are feeling. He tells me, man, it's expensive. Gas and electric's going up. I got to pay this much to drive gas, because he has to drive to another state. And it's very expensive for everyone. And he has that same thing going on right now. So he has no advantages over you. None. He has zero advantages. He's being forced to work at a job. He's not making a lot of money. that cost of living pressure that you're feeling, he's feeling it too. And he has to learn it when he gets home and on his day off. Now, tell me, don't play with that. Take that pig from her, because it's going to oink, and it sounds like something I don't want in the video. Don't let her out. Leave her in there. Just leave her alone. That's what I'm saying. Just stay away from her. She's going to think you're going to let her out of the kennel. This is all the stuff that usually gets cut out of a pre-recorded video. But we're live, so it is what it is. But you have the same situation and same circumstances that he has. The only advantage is that I'm not going to let him fail. You have to earn yours. The work that you put into it, you're going to have to earn all of that. And when you earn it, you should feel good about it. When you understand yourself and you understand the market and how you're going to engage it, don't even invite other people.